Good to go? All right. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this special Pennington County Planning Commission meeting on May 17th, 2021. Some housekeeping items here, I guess, before we get started is that if you do want to fill out a speaker request form, I ask that you fill one of these out in the back of the room. Hand it in this plastic area right here on the corner of the dais. That'll keep me organized during the meeting. For the folks that are on the Zoom call, Liz and Shar, do you guys wish to speak at all regarding the ordinance amendment 727 today?
Hi, I'm just here to listen in. Thank you.
Thank you. And Char?
Yes, I'm here to listen in as well. Thank you.
All right, thank you. With that, we'll go ahead and get started this morning. Jerry, roll call. Just note that everyone is here except Charlie and Karen. Gary is here from the board. Item number 1 is approval of today's agenda. There's only one item on today's agenda, Ordinance 727, due to the special meeting. Are there any changes or additions to the agenda? Hearing none, seeing none, I'd entertain a motion for approval of today's agenda.
I'll move approval.
Second.
Motion and second, further discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Motion carries. Second item on the agenda is Ordinance 727. Due to, looks like we have about 5 folks here in the audience. Normally we would go through a process where we would put a time limit on the amount of time for people to speak. If there's 50 people that want to address the topic, I would ask that for people that are speaking today, try to keep your comments to roughly 5 minutes, and we'll kind of forego the formalities and of group speaking and those types of things if we can all do that. But with that, Colin, is there anything that you wanted to go over first on the amendment before I open it up for speaker request forms?
Colin McNee, State's Attorney's Office. No, Mr. Chair, I think other than an introduction from Ms. Molitor, I don't think anything else needs to be said.
Okay, thank you. Brittany, I'll have you come up.
Good morning, Commission. Brittany Molitor, Planning Director. I just want to kind of go over the basics of why we're here. Last year, the voters adopted medical marijuana in IM 26. The law is set to take effect July 1st, 2021. This is a major change in the law. Given that change, the county's current regulations and controls may not adequately address the unique needs and impacts of cannabis establishments. Informing that there are rules that the South Dakota Department of Health must promulgate. Those rules will determine the standards for cannabis establishments. The DOH will not have those rules finalized until late October or early November of this year. So until then, we will neither 1, know the standards for cannabis, nor 2, be able to adequately assess the zoning and licensing requirements necessary to approve permits and to better ensure applicants have a more predictable permitting process. So staff, in order to address those concerns, have requested this temporary ordinance be adopted.
Thank you. Are there questions for staff on this item?
Yes, so this means no matter what we do today, we still can't allow the production of medical marijuana until sometime in October. Is that correct?
So until the Department of Health actually promulgates rules on the criteria for the licensing.
Okay, so the purpose of our meeting today is not to establish any rules?
No.
Then what is the purpose of this meeting?
Commissioner Rundy, the purpose of the meeting is to basically study the areas that we're going to need to regulate as to zoning, and then wait for the Department of Health's regulations to be promulgated there through administrative rule. So then we can better tighten our regulations to what the law is. So basically what we've got today is a moratorium on county licenses. The state can't give a license under IM 26, which is now codified as SDCL 3420G, until they have the rules promulgated either. So to answer your first question, there's not going to be any medical marijuana until sometime in November.
Okay, then just a quick follow-up. We're looking to change zoning or alter zoning to allow for planting the plant and growing it, or for dispensing it to the general public with the medical prescription.
Commissioner Rundy, I think it's both, because we have the dispensary aspect of it and then the grow aspect of it. The law doesn't talk about trucking in marijuana. It doesn't talk about having marijuana already available for dispensaries. So that's something that would have to be grown. And the way the law reads, you have to grow it in a secure facility, so it has to be inside. So one of the things that I know that the planning department is looking at is where would that be best housed in our current zoning. So they're looking at that, and then as well as the dispensary angle.
Okay, so it wouldn't fall under a retail store, number one, and on the other hand, it wouldn't fall under wherever a person plants a seed to grow ear of corn.
Commissioner Andy, as for your second part, where to grow, they can't just grow it outside just like a normal crop, the way that I've read the ordinance and other people have read the ordinance. They need to grow it in a secure facility. As far as the distribution of where it's going to be, it has to be in a dispensary. So whether a retail store would fit in that or not, or whether you would want to separate it on its own, is something that goes into why we're having this moratorium in place, so the planning department can look at what other counties are doing, what other jurisdictions are doing, to see what would work best, and then tailor it to Pennington County's needs to ensure that, one, it's safe and secure, and two, the people get what they wanted through the initiated measure.
That's good, thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, Kathy.
Yeah, just kind of continuing on that thought. So the schedule, looking forward, is that sometime October, November, the Department of Health will promulgate the rules. And then I'm assuming that this ordinance will need to be amended, the county ordinance will need to be amended to be in line with that, with those rules. So so in that case, then I'm assuming that'll take some time. So really, are we looking, do you envision being like beyond the first of the year before we actually start seeing those businesses? Because, I mean, first the state has to do their work, and then the county ordinance has to be amended, and then, so it's going to take some time. So how do you envision the overall process?
Well, Commissioner Johnson, from speaking with the Department of Health's general counsel, they're going to put the rules that they want promulgated before the Rules Committee sometime in August, late August or September. So we'll have a look at the draft. So from there, we can craft our ordinance based on the studies that the planning department does to fit all of those needs. So we'll have something in place by the time the Department of Health's rules come into place. And then from that, I assume that there would be license applications once Department of Health has their rules and we have our ordinance in place. As far as whether they would actually have the stock,
Right.
I'm not sure.
But you don't envision any delays between the time that the Department of Health actually gets the final rules promulgated and when the county here can start accepting applications?
Correct. I think it should be in that November date. We should have everything.
Yeah, okay, very good, thank you.
Further questions for staff? Okay. Seeing none, the first speaker request form we have is from Kittrick Jeffries. Is that right, sir? Please come forward and state your name at the podium.
Hey, good morning, Commission. My name is Kit Jeffries. I represent Dakota Cannabis Consulting based here in Rapid City, South Dakota. I did want to touch on one of the questions you had, and the ordinance does clarify, I believe, a sunset clause that would allow the Department of Health rule promulgation to take effect. Once the ordinance would just disappear once that rule promulgation would take effect. One of the questions I actually had for the attorney, state's attorney, was home cultivation. Commissioner is it Rundy? Commissioner Rundy had a great question asking about cultivation. I think it just talks about commercial facilities. In IM 26, there is an affirmative defense in a court of law for home cultivation with a doctor's recommendation. I would like to get clarification on that. But the reason why I'm here today is to offer my services. I've worked in 8 states helping with policy consulting and the metric seed to sale tracking system. And anything I can do to help you guys and assist you guys with any planning or anything, I'm available. I'll be sure to get my cards at the end. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Further discussion? Does anybody else wish to speak on this item? Hearing none, seeing none, staff is recommending approval of temporary ordinance 727. Is there a motion?
I'd make the motion to approve ordinance number 727.
Second.
Motion and second. Further discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, no. Motion carries. Before we go to adjournment, I do want to mention that the Board of Commissioner meetings to address this topic will be on June 2nd at 2 p.m. and June 15th at the regular Board of Commissioner meeting, which is at 9 o'clock in the morning. Correct, Jerry? Okay. Item 3, adjournment. Is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
Motion and second. Further discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, no. Motion carries. We're adjourned.